He knew that today humanity would either join the Galactic Council or be annihilated if they were deemed unworthy. Zaxa, a young Krynian diplomat, prepared for the momentous occasion that would decide the fate of an entire species discovered by his people just a century ago. The humans had been technologically primitive at first contact, but they learned quickly, proving to be highly intelligent and adaptable. Zaxor reviewed their history as he readied for the council proceedings. His own father, a renowned xenobiologist, had taken a keen interest in humanity. He secretly shared advanced Krynian technology with the humans, believing they had immense potential. Zaxor knew his father had staked his own reputation on humanity's ascension to the galactic stage. Now the humans would have to demonstrate their worth and strength to avoid destruction. The Galactic Council did not tolerate weakness. As Zaxa watched the human ambassador stride into the council chambers, he held his breath, knowing that the survival of humanity hung in the balance. The human ambassador, a tall woman with piercing eyes, strode into the council chambers with her head held high. Zaxor couldn't help but admire her confident demeanor, even in the face of such high stakes. He watched as she took her place at the podium, ready to address the gathered representatives of the galaxy's most powerful civilizations. "Esteemed members of the Galactic Council," she began, her voice clear and unwavering, "I come before you today to seek recognition of humanity's rightful place among the stars. In the short time since our first contact with the Krynians, we have made great strides in technology and exploration. We have established thriving colonies on several nearby planets, and our people have shown a remarkable capacity for adaptation and innovation." Murmurs rippled through the chamber as the representatives considered her words. Zaxor knew that many of them were skeptical of humanity's rapid advancement, seeing it as a potential threat to the established order. As if on cue, the Grelvin ambassador rose from his seat, his scales gleaming under the chamber's lights. "The Grelvin Empire objects to the recognition of these upstarts," he hissed, his forked tongue flicking out between his teeth. "They have encroached upon our territory, and their expansion threatens the stability of the galaxy." The human ambassador remained unflappable in the face of the Grelvin's hostility. "We have claimed only uninhabited worlds, in accordance with galactic law," she countered. "The Grelvin Empire has no legitimate claim to these planets, and we will not be intimidated by baseless accusations." Zaxa held his breath as the council deliberated, knowing that the fate of humanity hung in the balance. After what felt like an eternity, the council spokesperson rose to deliver their verdict. "The Galactic Council recognizes the achievements of humanity and grants them provisional membership, subject to further review," the spokesperson announced, her voice echoing through the chamber. Zaxor let out a sigh of relief, but his celebration was short-lived. Just as the council was adjourning, an urgent message flashed across the screens throughout the chamber. "Breaking news," the reporter announced, her face grim. "We have just received word of a devastating attack on the human colony of New Eden. Grelvin forces have launched a surprise assault, massacring thousands of civilians. The colony is in ruins, and the death toll continues to rise." The chamber erupted into chaos as the representatives shouted and argued, each trying to make their voice heard above the din. Zaxor looked to the human ambassador, expecting to see shock and despair on her face. Instead, he saw a steely resolve in her eyes. "This act of aggression will not go unanswered," she declared, her voice cutting through the noise. "The Grelvins have shown their true colors, and humanity will not stand idly by while our people are slaughtered. We demand that the Galactic Council take immediate action to bring the perpetrators to justice." But the council remained paralyzed by indecision, bogged down in bureaucratic wrangling and political maneuvering. Days turned into weeks, and still no action was taken against the Grelvens. The humans, however, refused to wait for the council to act. Using the advanced technology that Zaxa's father had provided, they quickly developed a fleet of powerful warships and cutting-edge weapons. Zaxor watched in awe as the human fleet set out to confront the Grelvins, employing tactics that the galaxy had never seen before. They struck swiftly and decisively, catching the Grelvins off guard and decimating their forces. In a matter of days, the Grelvins were forced to surrender, their once mighty empire reduced to ashes. The humans demanded reparations and a formal apology, which the Grelvins had no choice but to provide. The galaxy looked on in shock as the upstart humans emerged victorious, their strength and resolve now beyond question. Zaxor knew that his father's faith in humanity had been vindicated, and he couldn't help but feel a sense of pride in the role he had played in their ascent. The Galactic Council chambers were abuzz with activity, as representatives from various species gathered to discuss the recent developments. At the center of the conversation was humanity's stunning victory over the Grelvins, a feat that had sent shockwaves throughout the galaxy. Zaxor sat nervously in his seat, his heart racing as he awaited the Council's decision. He knew that his father's actions in sharing advanced technology with the humans would come under scrutiny, but he hoped that the Council would see the wisdom in embracing humanity as a member species. As the Council spokesperson took the podium, Zaxor held his breath. In light of recent events, she began, the Galactic Council has decided to extend an invitation to humanity to join our ranks as a member species. Their military prowess and growing influence cannot be ignored, and we believe that their inclusion will bring stability and progress to the galaxy. Murmurs of approval echoed through the chamber, but Zaxor knew that the process would not be smooth sailing. As if on cue, a Crinian representative stood up, his face etched with concern. "While we welcome humanity's inclusion," he said, "we must address the issue of Zaxor's father's role in sharing advanced technology with them. This is a clear violation of Council law, and we cannot turn a blind eye to it." Zaxor felt his stomach drop as all eyes turned to him. He knew that he had to act quickly to protect his father's legacy and ensure humanity's smooth integration into the Council. Rising from his seat, Zaxor addressed the Council. "Esteemed members," he began, his voice steady despite his nerves, "I understand the concerns regarding my father's actions. However, I believe that his intentions were pure and that his faith in humanity's potential has been vindicated by their recent victory over the Grelvins." He paused, taking a deep breath before continuing. "To demonstrate my commitment to the Council and to humanity, I volunteer to serve as the Council's ambassador to Earth. I will work tirelessly to ensure that humanity's transition into the Council is as smooth as possible, and that any issues that arise are addressed swiftly and fairly." The Council members exchanged glances, and after a moment of deliberation, the spokesperson nodded. "Very well, Zaxor. We accept your offer to serve as our ambassador to Earth. We trust that you will represent the Council's interests faithfully and work towards a peaceful and prosperous future for all." With that, the meeting adjourned, and Zaxor found himself on a shuttle bound for Earth. As he watched the stars streak past the viewport, he couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement and trepidation at the task that lay ahead. Upon his arrival on Earth, Zaxor was greeted by a delegation of human officials, led by the charismatic President Marcus Donovan. The President was a tall, broad-shouldered man with a winning smile and a firm handshake. "Welcome to Earth, Ambassador Zaxor," he said warmly. "We are honored to have you here, and we look forward to working with you to ensure a smooth transition into the Galactic Council." Zaxor nodded, returning the President's smile. "Thank you, President Donovan. I am eager to begin our discussions and to learn more about your people and your culture." As they made their way to the meeting room, Zaxor couldn't help but marvel at the advanced technology that surrounded him. It was clear that humanity had made great strides since their first contact with the Crinians, and he knew that his father's faith in their potential had been well placed. The negotiations began in earnest, with Zaxor and President Donovan's advisors delving into the details of humanity's membership in the Council. They discussed trade agreements, military alliances, and cultural exchange programs, each side eager to find common ground and forge a lasting partnership. But just as they were making progress, alarms began to blare throughout the building. Security personnel rushed into the room, their faces grim. Mr. President, Ambassador Zaxor, we have a situation, one of them said urgently. A group of Grelvin infiltrators has breached the perimeter and is heading towards the council chambers. We believe they intend to assassinate you both. President Donovan's face hardened and he turned to Zaxor. It seems that some Grelvins are not content with their defeat, he said grimly. We must act quickly to ensure the safety of everyone in this building. Zaxor nodded, his mind racing as he tried to think of a solution. He knew that the Grelvins were a formidable foe, and that they would stop at nothing to exact their revenge. As the security personnel ushered them towards a safe room, Zaxor couldn't help but wonder what the future held for humanity and the Galactic Council. With the Grelvin threat still looming, and the revelation of his father's actions sure to cause controversy, he knew that the road ahead would be fraught with challenges. But as he looked at President Donovan's determined face, he felt a sense of hope. Together they would face whatever obstacles lay ahead and work towards a brighter future for all the species in the galaxy. The Grelvin assassins burst into the room, their weapons drawn and eyes filled with murderous intent. Zaxor froze, his mind racing as he tried to calculate an escape route. But before he could act, President Donovan sprang into action. With lightning-fast reflexes, the president dove behind a nearby table, overturning it to create a makeshift barricade. He reached for his sidearm, a sleek human-made weapon that had been reverse-engineered from Crinian technology. "Stay down, Ambassador!" Donovan shouted, his voice steady despite the chaos erupting around them. Zaxor obeyed, crouching low as the Grelvins opened fire. Energy beams sizzled through the air, scorching the walls and furniture, but Donovan remained calm, his aim true as he returned fire. One by one, the Grelvin assassins fell, their lifeless bodies hitting the floor with sickening thuds. Donovan moved with a fluid grace, his every shot finding its mark. It was clear that he was no stranger to combat, his skills honed through years of training and experience. As the last Grelvin fell, Donovan emerged from behind the barricade, his weapon still at the ready. He scanned the room, ensuring that the threat had been neutralized before turning to Zaxor. "Are you all right, Ambassador?" he asked, offering a hand to help Zaxor to his feet. Zaxor nodded, his heart still pounding in his chest. "Thanks to you, Mr. President. Your bravery saved my life." Donovan shook his head, a small smile playing at the corners of his mouth. "It's what any decent person would have done. We humans have a saying, leave no man behind, and that includes our allies." News of the attempted assassination spread quickly, and soon the entire galaxy was abuzz with talk of President Donovan's heroic actions. The Galactic Council, impressed by his bravery and commitment to his allies, moved swiftly to induct humanity as a full member species. In the days and weeks that followed, humanity began to exert its influence on the galactic stage. Human diplomats worked tirelessly to broker peace treaties between warring factions, their skills in negotiation and mediation earning them the respect of even the most stubborn species. At the same time, human scientists and engineers shared their knowledge and expertise with their new allies, helping to advance the technological capabilities of the entire galaxy. It seemed that there was no problem too great for human ingenuity to solve, no challenge too daunting for their determination to overcome. But as humanity's star rose, so too did the attention of the Viren Dominion. For centuries, the Viren had ruled the galaxy with an iron fist, their advanced technology and ruthless conquest making them the undisputed masters of the cosmos. At first, the Viren paid little heed to the upstart humans, seeing them as just another minor species to be conquered and assimilated. But as reports of humanity's achievements reached their ears, they began to take notice. "These humans are becoming a problem," growled Zalor, the Viren Emperor, as he paced the throne room of his palace. "Their influence grows by the day, and they threaten to upset the balance of power in the galaxy." His advisers nodded in agreement, their faces grim. They knew all too well the consequences of allowing a rival power to challenge Viren supremacy. "We must act quickly, my lord," said one adviser, a shrewd tactician known for his cunning strategies. The humans are still new to the galactic stage, and their alliances are not yet fully formed. If we strike now, we can crush them before they become a true threat. Zalor considered this for a moment, his eyes narrowing as he weighed his options. He knew that a direct confrontation with humanity would be risky, given their recent victory over the Grelvins. But he also knew that the Viren could not afford to let this new power go unchecked. "Very well," he said at last, his voice cold and calculating. "Begin preparations for war. We will show these humans the true might of the Viren Dominion and remind the galaxy of who truly rules the stars." As word of the Viren's intentions spread, humanity found itself facing its greatest challenge yet. But with their newfound allies by their side, and the indomitable spirit that had carried them this far, they knew that they would not go down without a fight. The stage was set for a conflict that would shake the very foundations of the galaxy. A war that would determine the fate of not just humanity, but of every species that called the stars their home. The Viren Dominion watched with growing unease as humanity's influence spread throughout the galaxy. In council chambers and battlefields alike, the humans were proving themselves to be formidable opponents, their advanced technology and indomitable spirit winning them allies and admiration at every turn. Emperor Zalor paced his throne room, his brow furrowed in thought. He knew that he could not allow this upstart species to challenge Viren supremacy, but he also knew that a direct confrontation would be risky, given humanity's recent victories. "We must be subtle in our approach," he said to his advisors. "We will sow discord and chaos among the humans and their allies, turning them against each other until they are too weak to resist us." And so the Viren began their campaign of subversion. They manipulated trade agreements and border disputes, pitting human colonies against their neighbors. They sabotaged human infrastructure, causing power outages and food shortages that bred resentment and unrest. But perhaps their most insidious tactic was the spread of disinformation. Viren agents infiltrated human media outlets and social networks, spreading lies and half-truths that tarnished humanity's reputation. They accused the humans of war crimes and atrocities, of plotting to conquer and enslave the galaxy. At first, the humans were caught off guard by the Viren's tactics, but as the evidence mounted, President Donovan and Zaxor began to suspect that something was amiss. "These accusations don't add up," Donovan said, poring over intelligence reports in his office. "The Viren are up to something, and we need to find out what." Zaxor nodded in agreement. "I'll reach out to my contacts on the Council. If the Viren are behind this, we'll need all the allies we can get." As tensions escalated, the humans and their allies worked tirelessly to uncover the Viren's plots. They intercepted communications, infiltrated Viren networks, and pieced together the puzzle of the Dominion's grand plan. And when the truth was finally revealed, the galaxy was shocked. The Viren had been manipulating events for years, orchestrating conflicts and sowing chaos in a bid to weaken their rivals and maintain their grip on power. The Galactic Council erupted in outrage, with species after species condemning the Viren's actions. But Emperor Zalor remained defiant, declaring that the Dominion would never surrender its rightful place as the masters of the galaxy. And so the stage was set for a final confrontation. The humans and their allies gathered their fleets, marshalling their forces for a battle that would determine the fate of the galaxy. The Viren, too, prepared for war, their ships bristling with advanced weapons and shielding. They were confident in their superiority, certain that they would crush the upstart humans and their pathetic allies. But as the two fleets clashed in the skies above a disputed system, it quickly became clear that the Viren had underestimated their foe. The humans fought with a ferocity and determination that caught the Dominion off guard, their ships darting and weaving through the Viren lines with impossible speed and precision. And then, at the critical moment, the humans unleashed their secret weapon, a new type of warship, reverse-engineered from the technology Zaxor's father had provided, equipped with advanced shields and weapons that tore through the Viren fleet like a hot knife through butter. The battle raged for hours, with both sides taking heavy losses. But in the end, it was the humans who emerged victorious, their ships battered but unbowed, their allies cheering in triumph. In the aftermath of the war, the galaxy was forever changed. The Viren Dominion, once the undisputed masters of the stars, was broken and humiliated, its emperor forced to sue for peace and accept humanity's terms. And as for the humans, they found themselves in a position of unparalleled power and influence. The Galactic Council, in recognition of their valor and sacrifice, formally acknowledged them as the strongest and most advanced species in the galaxy. In the council chambers, President Donovan and Zaxa sat side by side, reflecting on the challenges they had faced and the bright future that lay ahead. "Now we've come so far," Donovan said, his voice thick with emotion. "When I think of all the sacrifices our people have made, all the obstacles we've overcome..." Zaxa nodded, placing a comforting hand on the president's shoulder. "Your people have earned their place among the stars, Marcus, and with the Viren threat eliminated, we can finally focus on building a better future for all species." As the two leaders looked out over the bustling spaceport, watching as ships from a dozen species came and went, they knew that the galaxy would never be the same. Humanity had arrived, and with them, a new era of peace, prosperity, and progress was dawning. You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.